What's up, everybody? Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. In case you did not know, if it was not brought to your attention, deadbeat Brian Mcknight loses 32-year-old son, Niko, from cancer. Y'all, I tell you, this is the reason why you have to make your wrongs right. You can't walk around here stuck in your ways, thinking that you have time to correct your wrongs. The whole Mcknight family, I definitely have my deepest sympathy. This is a very unfortunate situation, and as we all know, Brian Mcknight has been an estranged father. He has not had a relationship with his children, and it's gotten so bad to the point to where everybody is aware of the fact that he has not made amends with his sons, to the point to where a lot of people practically started counseling Brian Mcknight, and he deserved it. A lot of people stopped supporting him, going to his shows, buying his music, because this man was so proud and honorary, and calling his children evil, just blatantly disrespecting the mother of his children, insulting them. Got with his little white snow bunny, created a new family, and treat her family from a previous relationship more like they're his kids than he did his own biological children. Not only that, he went so far as to dropping his son Brian Mcknight Jr.'s name and changing his name to his baby's name, his last son that he just had with his current wife. So he has done everything spiteful under the sun to torment his family and to torture them. And the bad part about it is, see, that's why God don't like ugly, because you never know how things can happen, and you may never even get a chance to correct it or make it right. So basically, Niko, y'all, he obviously had been struggling with cancer for a really long time, and I didn't even know he just got diagnosed with it. He just found out about it back in 2024. So I'm wondering, is it because by the time it got diagnosed, it was already too far gone? Because he's a young man, he's only 32 years old. Maybe had Brian Mcknight been in his life and kind of been talking to him and saying, man, are you going to the doctors, or are you getting your regular checkups? You never know. Sometimes when children go through hurt and pain, they just don't care about anything anymore. And I hope it's one of those things in which Niko just was so heartbroken behind his father's absentee, to where he just kind of gave up on life, didn't feel no need in fighting for it. And I'm just assuming, I'm not saying that is really the case, but I'm just kind of wondering. So anyway, Brian Mcknight's brother Claude has come out, and he has addressed the passing of Niko. Now, it has been confirmed whether if it was this morning or if it was yesterday, but it was very recent. And it's crazy that the uncle was the one who took the initiative to come out and acknowledge Niko's death, yet Brian Mcknight has not said a word. So it's going to be interesting if he's even going to have the balls to say anything, because he knows that everybody knows, sir, you practically shitted on your son. So for you to want to come out now and show any type of empathy or sympathy, nobody's not going to buy it. So in a sense, it may be better that he don't say anything, but I can't say that either, because the fact that you already hadn't been there for your son, for any of your children, you haven't been there for Niko, Brian Mcknight Jr. and Brianna Mcknight, the fact that you have basically abandoned and neglected all of them, the least you could do is acknowledge Niko's passing. But at this point, for Brian Mcknight, because he has put such a bad stain on his name, it's a damn if he do, damn if he don't. And if he were to never come out and acknowledge it, nobody wouldn't even be surprised, because damn, if you didn't acknowledge your son when he was living, you damn sure not going to acknowledge him now that he's gone. But I want to play this video from TikTok, y'all, where the uncle, oops, I don't know where that come from, where the uncle basically comes forth. I got to put my thumb back up there. The uncle actually comes forth on the TikTok, and does a TikTok video. I want to share that with y'all so y'all can see what the uncle felt about it, and I'm glad that somebody is speaking on Niko's behalf since his raggedy father is not going to do it. So let's see what Mr. Claude Mcknight had to say. Let's play it.
I don't know exactly what was going on there. I know what I've seen, I know what I've heard from all parties involved, and I try not to judge. I just try to be as loving to each person as I can be, because apparently there's so much hurt going on, or was so much hurt going on, that a lot of things didn't get resolved. And again, I want to go back to Niko. I know that kid had a lot inside, a lot eating at him for a long, long, long time. That may have contributed to what happened with him. What I do know is he's out of pain now. And so I can rejoice in the fact that he no longer has to go through the chemo and the radiation and everything else. But I just want to uplift that young man and say we will see him again one day. So all day, I said to myself I wasn't going to post about this. And as the day wore on, I realized that how could I not post about this? This morning I found out that my nephew, Niko Mcknight, passed away. He'd been bravely battling cancer for the last 2 years or so. And I have a lot of feelings right now. I'm not going off a script or anything like that. I'm just going to be raw with how I'm feeling. Niko was one of those amazing kids who was quirky and curious and ridiculously talented. Amazing singer, an amazing guitar player, had a great eye, was a photographer. And just one of those kids that, at least in my estimation, was somebody you always wanted to be around. And so it really sucks that he's no longer with us. And I will also say, probably one of the reasons why I wasn't going to post about it is I post a lot of things, but I don't post a lot of really, really serious subject things, or certainly family things. And I wanted to post this about Niko, about his legacy, about how amazing he is, and not about what some of you may have heard about, you know, the family drama that has existed for quite some time in our family. I'm not here to discuss that or to talk about how that happened or why it happened. This is not the time or the place, but what I will say is, in any situation, there's always at least 3 sides to a story. There's my side, your side, and the truth. And the truth a lot of times is somewhere in. I love you, Niko. Uncle Claude.
All right, y'all. So I commend the uncle for being cordial, and not, you know, really indulging in going too strongly in the family drama dynamics, because the truth of the matter is that's really not important right now. It's really not, and that's not for him to address. I appreciate the uncle for being very respectful and keeping the focus on Niko, because that is what really matters right now. Niko was only 32 years old. He had a whole lot to live for, you know, and it's so unfortunate that Brian's ego and pride became the demise of him and his children having a successful relationship. One would think because Brian Mcknight is older and he's traveled around the world, that he will have some type of substance or enough wisdom to understand that his children are young, and at that age, you know, of course, young people think they know everything. You can't tell them nothing. They get to smelling themselves. But you, as the parent, supposed to be gifted with wisdom and knowledge and discernment. And sometimes you have to allow your children to go through in order to grow through. Brian Mcknight was so bitter towards Julie to the point that he allowed that to spill over in how him and his children bonded with each other, you know. And add insult to injury, this man put his current family on a pedestal. He bragged about his stepchildren, just taunting his biological kids, buying them gifts and posting it on Instagram, posting it online, knowing your family hasn't even, you know, your children didn't even get a damn Amazon package from you, and you're up here praising and holding Sunday worship service for your, you know, snow bunny queen and her children. And it's sad that you know, he would really go that far to prove a point, but what's going on is people is not letting up on him. They is going for the gusto. So I want to read one or two little articles to y'all. And no, this is not a troll. This is actually what happened.
You are now about to witness the strength of
sorry y'all on that one. Yeah, this is definitely not a fake story. This is very, very real, very, very unfortunate. And I hate that it even had to get to this point. And the thing about it is, you know, Brian Mcknight, he can't fix it. He cannot fix this situation with him and his son. Time has expired. It is done. It's over. He cannot go back and change the hands of time. So prayers up for Brian Mcknight and his family. It was learned that his son Niko has passed away from cancer. According to Giro, Niko's uncle Claude Mcknight broke the shocking news earlier this week on social media. This morning I found out about my nephew. Niko Mcknight passed away. He'd been bravely battling cancer for the past 2 years or so. He continued, Niko was one of those amazing kids, quirky, curious, and ridiculously talented. Amazing singer, amazing guitar player, had a great eye as a photographer, and one of those kids, at least in my estimation, that you always wanted to be around. He also talked about the pain that the young singer had to endure throughout his life, including the drama involving his father, singer Brian Mcknight. Niko's relationship with his father was strained, with Brian publicly distancing himself from his older children. Although Claude didn't speak on the family drama, he did touch on the topic. I wanted to post this about Niko, about his legacy, about how amazing he is. Not about what some of you have heard about family drama that has existed for quite some time in our family. I don't know exactly what was going on there. I know what I've seen. I know what I've heard from all parties involved. A lot of things didn't get resolved. Before ending his video, he added, I know that kid had a lot inside, a lot eating at him for a long, long time. I may have contributed to what happened with him. What I do know is he's out of pain now. I just want to uplift that young man. Righteously so. Being that he was not in a good space with his father, who's to say that didn't take some type of emotional toll that very well could have worsened the conditions of his health? Because believe it or not, stress has a way of activating someone's health into worsening. So, and that's why they tell you when you find out somebody's sickly or having some health conditions, that you got to pretty much take it easy on them and be very supportive, because the body is already adapting to this process of it not being able to function the same. So when you add stress on top of that, it's an overkill, right? This other article, the internet is mourning the passing of Brian Mcknight's estranged son Niko after a brave fight with cancer. Niko's uncle and Brian's brother Claude Mcknight shared the heartbreaking news. He'd been bravely battling cancer for the last 2 years or so, and I have a lot of feelings right now. Claude went to pay tribute to the musician and the photographer. Fans had also been following Niko's health journey since he shared his cancer diagnosis on Instagram in January 2024. Captioning his post, "Your boy got the big C. It's been one hell of a ride so far, but things are looking better now than they were before. So cheers to that." But some of the same fans are coming for his famous father for allegedly not making the most of the time they had together before his untimely death. I wonder if Brian Mcknight even cares, wrote someone in the comments section of Claude Mcknight's post. Niko was one of Brian Mcknight's 2 children he shares with ex-wife Julie Mcknight. The One Last Cry singer made headlines back in April 2024 when he admitted on an Instagram Q&A session that he doesn't claim his 4 oldest biological children, calling them the products of sin. Niko clapped back at the end on his dad's social media page, writing, "I'm evil, that's wild. The guy who used to make me clean his used condoms out of his bathroom at 15 before Lisa got home is calling me evil for sure." But his uncle Claude made it clear to his over 25,000 followers that his post was all about his love for his nephew, adding that he wasn't going to get into the details of the drama between Niko and Brian. I don't blame him on that. That's too messy and chaotic of a situation, and guess what? God already knows about it. And Brian Mcknight is going to have to give an account to that. He's going to have to give an account to how he allowed that relationship between him and his children to continue to deteriorate. So the next question is, okay, now that Niko has passed, is Brian Mcknight going to show up to the funeral? Is he going to contribute financially towards it? Is he going to reach out to his children that are left? Or is he going to continue to be the deadbeat, and he may be relieved that Niko is gone? That's one less child he feels he would have to answer to, because you're dealing with a narcissist. And Brian Mcknight definitely gives narcissistic ninja nature vibes. He seems like the type of person, even if he knows he played a major part in something going wrong, he's going to deflect and he's going to act like he wasn't the cause of that. So my thing is, people show you who they are when you're living. So imagine when a person passes away, that person is still going to continue to be the way that they were. If they're not treating you right while you're living, they damn sure not going to treat you right when you pass on. So I don't see this, really changing him. But it would be good if it did. That way at least something positive would come out of Niko's passing. But knowing this ninja, he's going to keep going on with his beautiful wife and his beautiful life, and just, put Niko's death along with his biological children's presence. He's just going to put that in the back of the trunk and keep it closed and keep on driving. I just don't see him being man enough to apologize. I don't see him with a change of heart. I just don't see him becoming a better man from this. He's been so arrogant. He's been so nasty. And that's why a lot of people haven't been rocking and vibing with him. His concert ticket sales have been declining worse than Walmart rollback prices. Nobody is rocking with him, and for every good reason. I mean, shit, the way you treat your family, that says, your children, that says a lot about your character as a man. And don't get me wrong, kids are going to try you. I'm not going to say that his children was innocent. They probably, disrespected him in ways as well. But by Brian Mcknight being the oldest, and by him having all of this wisdom and knowledge, he traveled in the world and experiencing, ups and downs and disappointments. You would think a man of his stature, with all the experience and exposure he's had within the world, that he would have a little more open mindedness in the situation. Like, okay, my sons, they think they know everything, they stubborn, they won't listen to me. As parents, we have to let children grow through to go through. We have to allow that. So you can't just throw your children in the trash. You can't discard them like they're property and not human beings, and not think that the way you treat them is not gonna have some type of effect on them. And the sad part about Niko that I feel for him more than anything, He left here knowing his father didn't love him. Think about it. He left here knowing his father did not love him. But the good news is he's with his father who does. And that's with his heavenly father. His heavenly father is going to give him all the love, all the care, and everything that his earthly father had deprived him of. Now, Mr. Mcknight may go about this one of two ways. He may either realize, I lost a son. Let me try to make it right with the ones I have. Or, because of his arrogance and his ego, he may be too embarrassed or too ashamed. And he may just continue to disregard and discard the ones that he have left. So I won't be surprised either way it goes, because he's already shown his true colors. And a man who would shit on his own children, he would basically shit on anybody. And this is the reason why so many people have lost respect for him. And it's sad. I feel for Julie. I feel for his ex-wife, knowing that this man didn't at least give your son the peace he needed, even in death, to at least come around. Even if you wasn't going to say anything or do anything, just the fact you should at least showed up. At least showed up. Hey, how y'all doing? Just want to make sure everybody doing all right. Okay, cool. I'm out. Your presence is better than just no participation at all. Even if you didn't want to buy them new cars, even if you didn't want to spend no money, you still was obligated to at least be present. You're not obligated to giving them money. You're not obligated to buying them a car, even though you did that with your stepchildren. But that's a whole nother story. But you were obligated to at least show up and let them know that you are still their dad. And regardless if they rock with you or not, you're still going to be there for them. But now he can't make that right. And my thing is, if he were to try to make it right, it's still not a good look, because the way everybody's going to look at it, but damn, it took you having to lose a child for you to finally honor the ones you have. Or he may be too embarrassed and may keep it moving. He may never acknowledge. I mean, like I said, the irony that Niko's uncle came out and acknowledged him. And Brian Mcknight still to this moment has not said anything. That lets you know what kind of dude he is. And the words of Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them. Niko, I'm so glad that you don't have to deal with the pains and the worries of this world. And your father is going to have to give an account to God for not correcting his wrongs while you were here. Okay? And Brian Mcknight don't never have to say a word, but I know he's feeling the funk. He's feeling the funk, because when you lose a child, and only people who have lost a child can truly understand, a part of you leaves. Even if you couldn't stand that child, even if you didn't get along with that child, when you lose a child, you lose a part of your spirit. A part of your soul goes right along with your children. Only parents who have lost children can truly understand that. So he's going to feel a funk, and he can, gaslight and keep posting pictures of him and his newfound family. It's not going to erase the fact that your son passed here without you making peace. And my heart goes out to Niko, because he left here knowing his dad didn't love him. In his last moments, his last days. I mean, if you don't look for nobody else to be there in your last days, you're going to look for your parents. Even if it's not your brother or sister, you're going to look for your mama, and you're going to look for your daddy. You're going to look for them when you're in your worst final stage. You're going to look for them. And it's sad that he was robbed of that, This young man was sickly. When somebody's sickly, they need all the support. They need all the love. They need all the encouragement. And Brian Mcknight couldn't even pick up the phone and say, son, I know we're not talking, but I just want to say I'm praying for you. That's it. Sometimes that's his best. You don't have to jump hurdles and do all these theatrical things, but just show up, be supportive, and be present. He did not do that. Okay? To be absent from the body means to be present with the Lord. So Niko, you are in good hands. You don't have to worry about your father not owning you, not claiming you. You are with the Father who's always been your Father, who's always kept you. And guess what? Your Heavenly Father cared way more about the earthly Father because He delivered you from the pain. He delivered you from the agony. He delivered you from the disappointment. So anything on this earth that was troubling you, that is no longer your trouble anymore, Niko. You can go on and rest and be with your Father. Everybody, please keep Niko's mother, Julie, keep Niko's siblings in prayer. And as much as I don't want to pray for Brian Mcknight because I really can't stand him, but guess what? Demons need prayer too. Sometimes you got to pray for your enemies. The Bible speaks on that, right? I pray for God to convict him, give him a change of heart, give him a sense of correction, understanding that he is not even promised to be here. It could be his turn next. You know, or any other his other children. You know what I mean? It's sad that a man of that much talent and stature, you would think he will have enough of wisdom to handle things way more diligently than what he has. But before we get ready to exit, what is y'all opinion? And please make sure y'all hit that like button. Definitely do that. I would appreciate it. Do y'all think Brian is going to support? Is he going to come to the funeral? Is he going to financially contribute? Is he going to do anything at this point for Niko? Or do y'all feel like he hasn't done anything all this time, so he's just going to pretty much ride off into the sunset with his Snow Bunny bunch family and pretty much keep it moving? What do y'all think? I would like to get your opinion below if you think Brian Mcknight is going to step up in any shape or form. In my opinion, as much as I don't like him, he does need to step up. He does need to attend his son's funeral. He does need to be there. I don't care if he's way on the other side of the church. I don't care. Hell, Julie may not even want him in the church, and I can understand that. But you owe it to your son to still show up. If you got to stand outside that church on the porch and wait for them to bring his casket out with his body in it, you owe it to him. That's the least you could do, Mr. Mcknight. But we know that you are trifling and you are a narcissistic ninja. You may not even come because of your shame, your guilt, and your embarrassment. And guess what? You will not be missed. Anyway, y'all leave y'all opinion below. Let me know what y'all think about this, y'all. Very, very, very sad day. Rest in peace to Niko Mcknight. May God continue to keep you and comfort you in this midst of such a long, hard battle that you felt you had to fight alone. May God continue to strengthen the Mcknights and all other parties involved. Y'all take care, and please hit the like button when you exit. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.